Okay. Basically, I'm still kind of confused as to how and why I lost my job. Um, pertaining to specific procedures and policies in order for uh, this incident. Um,
That's right. That's right, Jack. From a safety perspective, you're absolutely right. We consider it a significant violation of safety. Our safety managers got some that do this, send this recommendation in after discussions with people at the site, Joe Collins, and so forth. That's exactly right.
okay. I have not yet to get anything in writing, basically stating what the violation was and what the circumstances were, etc. As I stated, this is a procedure that I was shown how to do and have done before. Why Mr. Parnell initially admitted to doing this, and once he found out that basically there was going to be some repercussions involved, he changed his tune. I was able to record him saying these things because I kind of had a feeling this was going to happen. I brought that up to Scott. It seemed to have no bearing on the outcome of this decision, basically. I was also curious and confused on why it takes two people to load, unload a dolly at any time. The person that was doing this with me, Josh Williams, was not suspended, was not reprimanded, was not even, other than a statement of what happened, even brought up. So I guess the big thing is there are no policies and procedures in place for this. The PM is very vague about how you take on and put off a dolly. Actually doesn't say anything about that. This specific procedure that's in question is something that I was showed and trained how to do before. So I'm wondering why I'm the, for lack of a better word, the guinea pig, and have been the only one that's been suspended, reprimanded, fired over this situation.
Okay. Well, let me do this. Why don't you do this for us? If you feel that we've made a misjudgment or error in our decision, you just cited a number of different reasons why you think you're right. Send out an email, and I'll have that matter reviewed again. Okay.
Yes, sir.
To see if bring some light to what you're saying. Okay.
Well, wasn't that in? I'm sorry.
There's some issues here that we or all of us have not considered, and to give due process, and I'm willing to look at it again. Okay, and I'm sure my colleagues are willing to look at it again.
Well, that.
Why don't you cited 4 or 5 reasons, and they have more. But why don't you cite those 4 or 5 reasons, or if you have more, put them down, and then I will ask safety to re-engage, okay, including operations, to re-engage to review this matter based on your comments, and we will get back to you.
Okay, well, that's kind of wherein the problem lies. I did give those statements. That's why I don't know if it ever. The last correspondence I had with Mr. Kennefick was wondering if the last email I sent him and to Joe Collins had actually got to the proper people, because it was the day before the decision was made, and it was a rather lengthy 9-paragraph message about basically what I just told you. This is a policy. This is a procedure I've done before, that I thought I was doing what I'd been trained how to do. In the big picture, you both are in high-level management. Safety is top priority for our client, for our coworkers, and for ourselves. This was not a blatant disregard to safety or procedures or policies, etc. I like to think and pride myself on that safety is first and foremost, and that we all go home every day with our fingers and toes. Nobody was injured in this situation. The area was coned off. I was doing what I was trained to do. So, after the initial conversation with Scott and Sean, I was led to believe that there was nothing going to happen. And I quote, I was told I was going to get a proverbial spanking for this, and that Caterpillar wasn't pressing forward with it, and it would be handled within URS, meaning between Scott, Doug Brown, Sean Parnell, specifically. So as this progressed, everybody kind of changed their tune. You know, I took it upon myself to record these things, and the reason I did this is to protect myself not only, but I was told by Scott Kenefick back when we were dealing with Mike Proctor, and I don't know if you guys know who that person is, but there was a lot of safety things going on, that I was told to record this person and to present it to him if I found it to be contrary to URS policies, safety procedures, etc. So I did this on my behalf, and you know, now that a lot of this stuff has come to light, you know, I have felt like I've been thrown under the bus, to be honest with you. I've reported a couple safety incidents in the past. One of them specifically was due to someone that's been hired by URS that had a medical condition, narcolepsy, and I brought that up, logged it in the logbook, and I had come in the following day and noticed it had been removed out of the logbook, and I confronted Sean about why that had been taken out of the logbook, and I was told that anybody can see the logbook, meaning our client, Caterpillar, and he didn't want anybody having the ability, if they came in to sit down and shoot the sheets, to be able to open this logbook and read what he said, and I quote, animosity within the URS, and that we are going to handle the Glenn Thigpen narcolepsy falling asleep in stations thing internally, and I left it at that. But my concern is that he took a log out of our book that we basically use to communicate between first, second, and third shifts, and also for situations like that just happened. I logged what happened with us.
Are you saying, Jack, are you saying that you put down that this individual had a medical condition?
Yes, that has been discussed. Let
me tell you, under the law, you cannot do that. Okay? Under the HIPAA regulations, you can't do that. Now, if you want to report that to your manager confidentially, that's one thing.
Okay.
But to put it in a log where it's obvious that others can see it is certainly against all the HIPAA regulations that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Okay? So, if it was removed, you know, it was removed for a reason, not because, you know, you had put something there, okay, or anybody else. Under the HIPAA, you know, medical conditions are confidential.
Okay, that's not what I was told to do, sir. The medical condition was not in writing. This was something that was talked about between Sean and I. He told me to log everything that happens that was of significance on a shift, which I did. So before I say any more, you know, I have yet to get a hold of an attorney on this. I'm sure if he was asked that question, he's going to have a completely different story of why he removed that log. So, you know, I'm going to let him...
Again, I would only think that if you're putting in a log where anybody can see it...
I put in that the employee was falling asleep in the station. And so, I mean, this is kind of beside the fact. My concern is I've put information pertaining to this crane incident in the log, and because I don't have access to it anymore, I wasn't allowed on site to gather up.
I see what you're saying. You put information. I'm thinking about, I thought you were saying you put a medical condition.
No.
Maybe I can interpret the term.
No, that's the least of my concerns, sir. My point is that I tried to access information that was pertaining to my situation, meaning that I logged... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Let me do this, Jack. You can either do one or two things. Give me an opportunity to go back and research the files to see if we have your statement. Okay, Donna can call you and tell you whether we have the statement that you submitted.
Okay.
And then we'll consider. Okay? Or you can send us an email, send Donna an email, quick email, saying, these are the things I want you to take a look at if you have these statements or whatever. I'd be glad to go back and look at that stuff and have them re-look at it if there's something that we didn't consider.
Okay. And sir, I'm sorry, because we're on speakerphone, I didn't catch your name completely. You said Tony what?
My name is Tony Fabie, F-A-B-B-I-E. I'm the HR manager.
Okay.
All right.
Do you guys have, can I get your guys' email?
To
Yes, sir.
I just need I will go back and have the files. I'll have Donna call you and tell you that if we had that statement that you said you made, okay, and considered it, like I said, if this is things that you want us to make sure that we consider, I'm more than willing to go back and take a look at it.
Okay.
I just need to know what is it specifically that you want us to look at so that I have a better understanding that I didn't miss something that you said. You know?
Yes,
That's
sir.
all I'm trying to say to you.
Okay. Can I get your
That's all
guys'...
I'm trying to say. You know, it can be 5 bullets, 6 bullets, whatever you want us. They tell you, I submitted a statement or no. I submitted a statement that was talking about this, this, and this, okay?
Okay.
You have that statement. You know, it was dated around such and such. Did you take, you know, so that's, you know, I submitted something else. Or I gave them this to look at. The policy doesn't say this, Don. Whatever you want us to look at that you think is important to your case, I'm more than willing to look at.
I would appreciate that, sir.
That's all I mean, I think that's more than, I think that's fair.
And I
What I'm
do,
saying is I have not opposed mine.
and I do as well, sir. I mean, I wasn't even given a warning. I mean, to be fired from a position of a level like this without a warning would basically, I mean, I was getting, for lack of a better word again, they were playing stupid with me, you know. It goes from proverbial spanking to an outright termination, and I wasn't even told until basically the day of what my chain of command was, because I was told by Scott, if you disagree with this, you can go, you know, above me. And Joe Collins is the only...
Who said you were going to get a proverbial spank? I heard you use that term 2 or 3 times now.
Scott Kennefic.
Okay, so he said you're going to get a proverbial spanking and then you got terminated.
That's correct.
Okay, and he told you that when?
He told me the proverbial spanking on the Friday that I had to come in and give the statement that Caterpillar wasn't pressing forward with this, and I have him in recording saying this, that Caterpillar was not going to pursue this.
It's here, so when we look for it, I can look for that specific, make sure I got it.
Look for what, sir? Hello?
Yeah, you said it's a recording?
Yes.
Let me understand something. I'm not sure. What is he saying, Donna?
You recorded the conversation that you had with Scott.
That's correct.
Okay, so you said you recorded it. Did Scott know you were recording that conversation?
I assume he did. I told him I was.
Okay. So, okay. Well, again, if there's something you want us to look at, I'd be glad to look at it. I will go back and look at the records again, but if there's something you want us to specifically look at, I'd be glad to look at it. All right?
Okay. Meanwhile, I need in writing, which I thought I was going to be provided, why I was terminated, what safety violation I presented. You know, I'm not an attorney, and I am very hesitant in making statements that I'm not aware of. You know, I don't know how this all works. I know that I did my job as I was trained to do and how I was told to do it, and basically got thrown under the bus. I was not given a warning. I was not given a reprimand.
Read our safety processes and you read our procedures, okay? We have a corrective disciplinary policy. It does not say that you have to get a verbal warning or written warning. We can escalate to immediate termination at any point in time. That is our policy and our process. I'm sure if I looked in your file, okay, that you probably have in our handbook, okay, which is updated when it's updated, it's always on the source. That's the policy. It doesn't necessarily have to go written warning, verbal warning, written warning, and then termination. It doesn't have to go that way.
I understand that. But why would you do that to a good employee who's got an outstanding record? He just got an excellent review, got a raise, has never had any problems, works extra hours. I mean, why would...
If they felt, our team felt that you created a significant safety violation that warranted termination, that's the decision they made. Now, as I said to you earlier, all right, our policies are very clear and articulate. You take them to any attorney you want. I'm happy because that's what you want to do. I can't stop you. I'm certainly not going to encourage you. But at the end of the day, I can tell you what our policies are. Our policies are very simple. That in the event that we make a determination that we feel that event warrant termination, we can do that, and that is part of the policy.
Okay.
It doesn't have to go in a sequential, progressive type of fashion.
Well, I'm not necessarily arguing that, but when you're taught and trained how to do it by your mentor, for lack of a better word again, this is something I was shown how to do by the person that trained me, and it was a safe procedure. I'm not sure if you know this facility, Tony. This is a very dangerous position that we do. We work on high voltage. We work underneath heavy loads, etc. This incident that I was doing, in my eyes, I've done this 25 years of my life. I'm not an idiot. I've never had any safety problems in my life. I do what I'm trained how to do, and this is what I did. So the fact finding that happened, they took his word and not mine and believed everything he said after the fact. I'm like, okay, he said this.
That's my point to you, Jack. If you think there are things that we should look at again, it doesn't have to be a dissertation. Just send Donna a quick email. Say, Donna, per our conversation, you and Tony, here's the things I'd like you to look at again. And if you don't have them, let me know.
Okay.
Okay? And I'll go back, and I will go back, and my commitment to you is go back and look at those issues and documents and have our safety people re-look at it, and obviously talk further to our operations team to make sure that either they feel that they've taken the right decision, or if they want to do something different, they have the opportunity to do something different too.
Yes, sir. That would be greatly appreciated. As my statement said, I love my job at URS. I'm a hard worker. I picked up and left. And I'm not trying to play the sympathy role here. I have 2 parents that are dying of cancer that I take care of 2 hours from here. So trying to juggle that and a full-time job and meeting my requirements of everything that I do in my life, I was devastated. I had no idea that this was basically going to escalate to this point, obviously. I take my job very seriously. Safety is the utmost importance to me. I would never do anything to jeopardize not only my own job, but the safety of other people around me. And there are, not to throw URS under the bus, but there are some things that need looked into as far as safety goes there. It's lax at best. As I said, I'm not arguing. I haven't studied or memorized the URS procedures, but basically when you come into a job and you are trained how to do a job and shown how to do a specific procedure, there's usually, most of our other stuff in there are specific procedures on what to do. We'll use this crane or this dolly as an example. You put shackles on it, you secure the shackle to it, you attach a crane to it, you clear the area, you warn people, you cone it off, you pick it up, you set it down, etc. There is nothing in writing that says that. That's obviously common sense stuff that you know from doing this kind of work throughout your career. I'm not arguing that you didn't have a right to fire me or whatever. I feel it's a wrongful termination because I don't feel I did anything wrong. And I will get you these facts and ask you to look into these things, and I appreciate that very much. But meanwhile, for my protection, sir, I thought I was going to get something in writing stating what I did, of course my pay, my benefit statement, etc.
I think Donna addressed the issues about your benefits, correct me if I'm wrong. So she told you what would happen with your benefit program, and that corporate would be issuing you a letter regarding your medical and so forth.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, sir.
I think you already had that discussion with Donna. The letter that I normally issue is merely a one-liner that termination is based on whatever. It could be just the cause. The cause could be a lot of things. I don't go into a lot of explanation because at the end of the day, it is for what it is. We've advised you verbally of why we're terminating you, okay, or anybody else for that matter. So, again, I will gladly look at your case. Again, I'll make a commitment to you. If you want to send, I'll look at it based on what you told me, but again, it's easier for me to look at some points on a piece of paper that you think that perhaps should be highlighted, and I would like to look at them again.
Okay.
I can can make that commitment to you and know that I can live up to it. Other than that, that's about the extent of what I can do.
Okay. And the reason I brought up the medical benefits, because from my understanding, I don't know the law. Donna and I briefly talked about. I had mostly called about what was going to happen with my vacation pay. From what I know of the law, I think that you get an option to buy into COBRA or something like that. But meanwhile, going back to this whole thing, what started this is a power supply fell on Josh and I. I'm not claiming that I'm hurt and can't work or anything like that, but I did hurt my back. I brought it up to Sean. I brought it up to Scott. I didn't even go to the doctor until yesterday because my back is still sore. And that's not something I'm pressing, but when I went in there, my medical stuff was gone, So filing it under workman's comp was not an option. Filing it under my insurance was not an option. I mean, basically, I was essentially denied medical treatment because I didn't have insurance.
I'm not competent to really go back and give you an explanation on that. As I said, I understand that our medical goes, but you have the right to buy into COBRA. There's no question about that. Okay, and you have the continuation of medical coverage.
Okay.
So that if you wanted to elect COBRA, you certainly could go to a doctor, and if you even need to the extent you had to pay it out of pocket. I'm not saying that's the right thing, but I'm saying there's an opportunity there.
Okay.
And certainly you would have that right. Okay, and then obviously submit it to the medical plan once you purchase the COBRA insurance.
Yes, sir.
So if you have those kind of options, I'm not saying you don't. So.
Okay.
But.
Well, in closing, I'd like to add, I realize neither one of you know who I am and don't know my character or personality. You're going on what's being told from people here on site. I can respect that. But I'm also a stand-up guy. I was honest and forthright about everything that happened in this incident, and I definitely didn't feel I deserved to lose my job over this. I understand that safety is the first and foremost importance in any job, and I can't emphasize that enough. So I felt a little bit, I don't even know a word to use, disappointed, discouraged, sad, depressed that I wasn't able to really take the seriousness of this until after the fact, because like I said, I was told that I was going to get a proverbial spanking and I'd basically be back to work Monday. So I had 2 days off to think about what had happened, etc. Well, meanwhile, Monday passed, Tuesday passed, Wednesday rolls around, and I'm just being told we're still in standby mode. And by that time everybody was playing stupid. I don't know, blah blah blah. And I felt like an idiot because I didn't essentially give more of a statement. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Scott Kenefick had me, I don't know if he was panicking, but I work night shift, as you know. I was called at approximately 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which I'm normally sleeping till about 3, and I was told to be in there by 3 o'clock to give a statement. And Sean Parnell coached me on what I should say. He's like, less is more. Write down this, it's no big deal, blah, 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 which I did. I mean, my initial statement was basically not even a paragraph of what happened, what we had done. And what's ironic about this, when I said, should I mention we've done this procedure before, he said, no, I wouldn't put that in there. And at that time, I believe he knew he was covering his ass. So anyway,
if you feel that was important to your case, you're more than welcome to write a note to Donna right now. I say Donna, send it to her. You guys have that conversation. Send it, including the thing that you think is important. I would gladly review the case again, all right, with our people here.
Okay.
So, if you're saying, look, I didn't get an opportunity because I talked to this guy, what was his name, Parnell?
Yeah, Parnell.
It would be another employee. Again, there's 1,000 people in the company. So I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't want to sound arrogant, but I don't know these people. You know them because you work with them each day, and that's great, but I don't know by name. Is he a fellow employee, or is he a manager, or who is he?
Yeah, he's basically a team lead, supervisor, the person that trained me. And that's another thing to add to all this. Nobody witnessed
So why
this.
don't you put down what these notes that you think are important?
Okay.
Because as you talk, again, there's a lot of information. I can't digest it as fast as you provided for me, to be honest with you. So if there's something that you want us to consider or points you want us to consider, send on a quick note or note, okay? And let us take a look at it so that we can make and review it and see if they're, well, you know, we want to stand by our decision, we want to change our decision, we want to modify our decision. I don't know. But I can't, if you can help me there, I certainly can get it reviewed again.
Yes, sir. I'd appreciate that. So I just need your guys' emails, and I will discontinue this conversation.
Your email is Donna.DONNA.Kirby, KIRBY@URS.com.
And she will make sure that you get any pertinent information, sir?
Yeah, Donna, right next to you.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I appreciate...
And as I said, you have Donna as a witness. That was my commitment to you that we will look at it again. I will make you no commitment beyond, you know, well, you're going to get your job back. No, I didn't say that. I said we will review it again. But please put anything you feel important in that email that you think perhaps that should have been considered, maybe wasn't considered, and I'll be glad to take a look at it again for you.
Yeah, well, and that's well and fine, but, you know, at this point I feel like the redheaded stepchild on the playground that nobody wants to play with. You know, it's going to be very difficult. Let's say, in best case scenario, you give me my job back and I have to go in and deal with these people that basically threw me under the bus. I'm more than willing to do that, obviously, Tony, because I like my job and I'm there to represent URS and our client and to the best of my ability, so I don't necessarily care if I'm making buddies to go out to the bar drinking with on the weekends or anything like that. But it's going to be very difficult because these people have told lies and they're going to stand by them to protect their own asses and their own jobs. So I appreciate your guys' time very much for at least taking into consideration what I had to say, and I will get this all documented. And I hope that you got the email from Joe Collins that basically explaining, you know, my situation and how I perceived it. You know, this is it was a very serious situation, and you know, not to take away anything or add to anything, basically, I feel that I deserve an opportunity to represent myself and URS and the client Caterpillar in the most professional way that I know how to, and that I believe I've done.
Okay, well, yeah, the first step is get that off, and as soon as I get it, Donna gets it, we can initiate something. Okay, at least we can be focused on what you say.
Okay.
You know, it's a lot of turf, so I want to be able to focus in on your key points that you bring to light and see if that has any bearing on the decision or the redecision or whatever you want to call it. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time very much.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate your time.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.